Flogcast may occasionally contain explicit content that makes it not safe for work or for minors. It also doesn't provide an excuse to use the same words on Bay 13. Normal big footy rules still apply. Alright, so this is the Flogcast for round 16. The shit dumper from Richmond, Starbuns, is here, and I'm joined by Mr. Moral Victory Cooksen.
Hello.
The man Cooksen was cloned from the dogs. We've got Ant.
Hello.
From the Elizabeth Street 7-Eleven, we have Dan.
Dan?
I split halfway between saying
Lieutenant
Dave
Dan.
and Dan, and I went with Dan.
You went each way.
And the number one fan of Hawthorn's Power Ranger, Guernsey, Penal.
Hi there.
Penal didn't sound very enthusiastic. He was like,
It's like he's missing something.
It's
Someone.
like I'm missing someone.
Yeah, the elephant in the room.
Where art thou teach?
He's gone to sleep again from the sound of things, having a nap.
we used to
Oh.
sleep at the wheel of the boat.
Old people nap a lot.
He's got to be up early to get Country Kitchen when it opens.
We're starving.
Medicine!
Let's begin with goo or tears. Who wants to go first?
I got a little bit of go, just a little bit. I tipped 7 correct winners this week, which means I'm now second last on the podcast tipping competition, and the teacher's last.
I have a bit of goo. I got on the bay after the Bulldogs Gold Coast game to see that Sydney supporter losing his shit because he lost a bet. Blood rat. He said, "Oh, Bontepella's got the most punchable head in the game." I love that. There's a bit of goo and I love the tears.
Cookson?
I got goo because I called Port Adelaide winning last week.
Mm.
Well done.
You
I
could
think
be
I was the
good
only
for
one that tipped
Saints.
Essendon last week too. Go me.
Oh, I tipped Essendon.
Yeah, but you went on. You were supposed to be on
Nobody
last
knows.
week.
But
you
I
no show.
changed my tips at the end of the show. Yeah. Or it was
That's-
the end of the week.
Hi, teach.
Yeah.
Penal? What do you got? Usually you got goo, and you did win by a lot.
Yeah, I'm gooey because of the result, but I'm also gooey because I finally get to talk about Fremantle, and boy, am I looking forward to talking about them this week.
We might come to Fremantle first. I'll just chuck my goo in. I forgot to mention this last week, but I got a bit of goo, and this is being serious goo for a second. I got a bit of goo for John Worsfold stepping into the Crows gig. I quite like that he's got no interest in coaching, especially not at Carlton. He told them to go and get fucked already, but he's taken on the Crows director job to help them along. And I've got some tears. I'll just say it. Tears for fucking Shane Watson. Get the fuck out. Yeah, let's begin. We'll start with, Penal wants to talk about Freo, so why should we stop him?
So, Penal, how was Freo?
Oh, they were fucking shit, and wasn't it great?
Hello, Jose.
Do they meet the criteria this week? Because they didn't kick enough goals, so I think we should move on.
No, I think the fact that their opposition kicked over 100 points makes it.
But their
worthy.
opposition had just a team of snipers. They're like
Yeah. Oh,
and
that fucking Sam Mitchell, what a
And
dirty guy.
Corky Mitchell and
Tubby Hodge.
Lightning strikes again.
yeah,
Yes,
and
as
I've been
Tex
reading.
said.
Hasn't struck twice at the Puffers all year, but it did down at Hawthorn.
And I've been reading up on the Hawks board that apparently he's not a good dude either, Mitchell.
Shit like Penchel.
Yeah, he's not a nice
You-
guy.
He's the least sociable person ever.
Better
All I've
watch your
read,
mouth, or else I'll mash the button on you, Ant.
just reading the thread, Hawks versus the Dockers, pick over the stinking wharfy cadaver here. I mean, there's a lot of bad words said about Mitchell. They're not happy.
I think you'll find their posts made by Essendon aliases who are upset about the jabbing gesture, the same Essendon people who most likely went to the Collingwood game a week ago to get in there and boo Mitchell.
You're sounding like Black Flag.
Yeah, I mean, I'm entitled to have a few conspiracy theories, aren't I? It's standard operating procedure around here.
I didn't see any underscores though, so I don't know.
It was pretty funny how Hawthorn put them to the sword. Like, Freo are lucky that they won that many games early in the year, that they probably won't drop out of the 4 in the run home, because they are genuinely concerning.
We just just dismantled them. But it's been a trend though, because they struggled against Gold Coast, struggled against Brisbane, struggled against Collingwood, and finally went up against a good team. And no, Collingwood are not a good team.
Right, we already beat them. We already beat them.
Yeah, that too. But we absolutely tore them to shreds, as we always do down there in Tassie. So
I thought it was at the MCG because it was a grand final preview.
Only if you're fucking one of those deluded media flogs like Basil who believes Fremantle were ever going to make the grand final.
No, it's a shout out to Big Joe D, who made a very, very pointed thread about this, that this should have been at the MCG. Why aren't Hawthorn playing games at the MCG? They say they're a Melbourne club, don't they?
Well, we've said this before. We want to allow all Australians to be able to go to games and watch the football. So if we don't play the games in Launceston, how is Jasny going to go to a game of football?
She can watch LOL North.
Yeah, but that's a Hobart. That's 2 hours drive down the road. We're
2 hours.
We're doing a valuable community.
You can't catch a train either because there's no trains in Tassie.
We're doing a valuable community service to the people of Tasmania. The people of Tasmania are thankful for us. That's why the government pay us $12 million a year or something.
I was going to say, I'm sure the taxpayers are very happy that they're funding Hawthorn.
Especially when none of those taxpayers are in Tasmania anyway.
Exactly. I'm not happy I'm funding fucking Hawthorn.
Well, no, you know who is? Freo supporters in WA. And then they're sending them over.
Oh, I have to say to the WA people going on about the GST, it was a few years ago WA were getting more than 100% of the GST, so get fucked. Victoria has always not got 100% of our GST.
We're going full fucking SRP here.
Yeah,
Let's get back onto Hawthorn versus Fremantle.
Showmakers got clearances, which was very surprising.
Well, that shows you how bad Freo were.
Yeah.
What did Showmakers do?
Showmakers was winning centre clearances.
Oh, wow.
We put him on ball as like in the roughhead role, which was like the tall, big-bodied mid, and he went all right.
Oh, so is Sean Makers now Hawthorn's best midfielder?
Ooh. No, he's no Liam Shields.
He had to think. But Freo are genuinely concerning. Like, they are on track for another straight sets exit at this rate, because whoever finishes at the moment, and I don't want to get too far ahead, but assuming that fifth place is either Richmond or the Bulldogs, and Freo finish fourth out of that top four, which is probably on the cards where the other three teams are playing. On current form, Richmond or the Bulldogs would roll them in a semi-final.
Yeah, Ross has probably trained them too hard. They're all tired of their stupid, boring, shitty defensive football.
Pavlich has gone backwards further than Boomer, and that's saying something.
Yeah, like he has kicked 3 goals in the last 5 matches. 3 goals in the last 5 matches, and all those goals came in the Brisbane game.
And I think they've been overrated probably because of a soft draw or something, but their list just isn't very good. I mean, you look at they were missing one player out of their best 22 yesterday, and that was
Crowley?
Johnson.
Oh, okay.
Crowley is debatable. Johnson's obviously clearly best 18, so they were missing him. But if you look at some of the names they had in the side yesterday, like fucking Clancy Pearce, Nick Subban, Matt DeBoer, Tom Sheridan. Yeah, they aren't fucking the caliber.
Even their names sound generic.
Players. They aren't the type of players that are going to win you a premiership. You need good quality in that sort of 15 to 22 ranked players on your list. They've
Designated Lions spuds, are they?
No, I agree. I mean, you have to look at Hawthorn, and they're low-ranked guys like that Sirioli guy. Doesn't do much, but occasionally he'll pop up and he'll kick a goal. I totally agree. They're one of those bottom-ranked low guys are on the borderline of being dropped every week. Yeah.
Look,
I agree.
That just shows the gulf in quality between the two teams. I mean, you have Cyril Rioli. Yes, he doesn't get a lot of possessions each week, but he is capable of playing the best 10 possession game of all time. Because I don't think that fucking Tom Sheridan is.
Look, they do have a few spuds. And do you reckon Lyon's already out the door then? Maybe he's just given up. He's already eyeing off Carlton.
Well, it depends how much money Carlton are going to throw out, because he is a fucking mercenary.
He is. We've talked a lot about Fremantle. Do we have anything else to add? Hawthorn are in 4th spot. They look the team to beat again, but it is the most even year of anything. Fremantle, though, are concerning as hell, and not even Fife's carrying them at the moment.
Fife got off again on the MRP.
Yeah, he's on the 3 strikes policy at the moment, I think.
Well, he gets to punch 3 people before he's out.
I think over the last 6 weeks since that Richmond game, I think Fremantle is something like the 12th or 13th ranked team for scoring, and that says it all. They're not going to win a flag playing like that. They're not going to win a final playing like that.
No, especially when you consider that some of the teams down the bottom of that list are probably the likes of Carlton, Brisbane and Essendon, teams with basically no functional forward line. This week, notwithstanding with Danaher kicking 5.
Oh, but Danaher's the biggest spud they've ever had until the end of the game.
But still, yeah, like even even when he did well, they didn't kick goals. Anyway, let's move on to, well, the Puffers have stayed afloat for another week. Collingwood brave.
Brave. So
Brave.
brave.
Very brave.
But there's a point, you can only be brave for so long, and when you're brave against Port Adelaide the way they've been playing, that's not good enough.
Well, I guess they're still downhill skiers, aren't they? Actually, no, they're not. Collingwood, is the Puffers above them on the ladder?
No, Puffers are below them. Like,
There you go.
they're no longer downhill skiing, they are falling.
Yeah, they're just tumbling down.
Yeah.
So brave. Hashtag on Big Footy is ranked third. If you want.
0 wins in a month. They didn't pass the test, did they?
No.
But they were brave. That's important.
But hey, this game trolled both sides because Port still think they're in it and Collingwood still can't get a win. So, you know, it was a decent quality game last of the Thursday nights, but they should have won this game after all those brave results.
Yeah, Collingwood probably were the better side, but they just couldn't win, which is probably the story of their year.
I wouldn't say they were the better side this week. I thought Port had them well covered. Collingwood were lucky to stay in it.
And as good as the Thursday night game was, the Friday night game was another shit fest.
Well, we know whose fault that was. Fucking one common denominator all year.
Someone tell me that's Carlton's last Friday night for the year. Please.
I think there might be one more.
No.
Two more, because we've got them not this week, but the week after on a Friday, and then there's one more after that, I think.
Seriously, the AFL must be the worst tippers ever. I mean, they're worse than Teach and his 5-man tipping comp. Who the fuck would put Carlton on a Friday night? They've got no one in their team.
They finished 13th last year and they were trending backwards. Like, there were no teams above them that they even looked like jumping, but there were about 3 teams below them who looked like swallowing them up this year quite comfortably, and the Giants and Bulldogs have absolutely done that. And, you know, even Melbourne and St Kilda are showing more.
Not Melbourne.
They're drafting.
They're
Drafting. They picked up the mature age guy who was bagging Carlton out before.
Burkles.
Who's not getting games as shit as they are.
I was picking up Liam Jones and Jason Tutt. I mean, what?
Before we move on to that game, was there anything else we wanted to say about Collingwood Port Adelaide? How shit was Cloak?
He got like 2 kicks or something for the match and no goals.
Jamie Elliott's body language was appalling.
That's because he wasn't playing for Collingworth this week.
Yeah, Collingworth, yes. He didn't understand what they were saying, like when he saw that on the TV. Cloak's trying to process it, and he's wondering whether he's playing for the right team because he couldn't tell that they got it wrong.
I saw a fucking Casbolt play on Friday night, and Cookie, you might have to revisit your thread because I don't think Travis Cloak is just an overpriced Casbolt. I think Casbolt's actually gone past him on current form. That big ripping bomb from 80 metres out.
Do we have anything else on Port versus Collingwood?
The tops are probably going to be in storage for one more week, and all the Puffers will come out.
There's showdowns this week, so they'll definitely be out for that. But we'll move on to Friday night then.
Worst game of the round?
Yes.
Probably.
Brisbane Sydney was probably worse.
Oh, but no, there was some pretty good moments in the Brisbane Sydney game. I mean, that kick by Zorko.
I think people can tolerate shit Sunday games, not Friday night.
Yeah, it's Friday night, and this is the thing. Like, there's no other game you can flick to on a Friday night, or you're not over football by that point. You know, you're kind of excited about football at that point of the week, and you can't be putting up shit like that.
Hang on. I'm not excited about football on Friday night because I know Carlton are playing.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You get excited the weeks they aren't, like, don't you?
I guess. They seem to be playing a lot.
I know, they're playing so many. It's now when Carlton aren't on a Friday night, it's like, yes, I can watch a Friday night game that's not Carlton. And this year we've actually been treated to some genuinely decent games apart from that.
I pretty much haven't watched a Friday night game. I've watched, I think, 1 or 2 Carlton ones and kind of put me off for the rest of the year. I now do other things on Friday nights. I mean, it's ruined Friday night football, Carlton.
And it wasn't much better being there. The only part that was really awesome was the Carlton melts after the cruiser mark was not paid.
I thought you said you weren't going to go because Hampson was playing.
Yeah, I was...
Oh, did Fifey go to the game?
Did you welch?
Well, and I think someone needs a new badge, doesn't he?
Oh, buck flag.
It's all showmanship. Of course I was going.
Did Fifey go to the game?
Yeah, I did go to the game, and Hampson was solid. He was better than Cameron Wood,
quite
which just shows you he's yet another Xer who would be getting a game at Carlton and doing quite well, better than who they've got.
Yeah, but you still gave up fucking pick 25 for him.
I mean,
No, it was like pick 33. It's not much better.
that was good defence there, Fifey. No,
11
we gave up
disposals,
pick
34
19 for Jordan
hit-outs.
McMahon.
Well, it wasn't my
One
it
behind.
wasn't my choice, man. If it was my choice, we wouldn't have got him.
54% disposal efficiency.
That would be a career high for him.
Would it? Okay.
Yeah, probably.
It's one of the lowest of the side.
But comparing him
For
to
that
Cameron
game.
Wood's not that good. I mean, they could have just had a freaking pole that they could hold up in the end. That would go better in the
True.
ruck than Cameron Wood.
But there weren't many highlights out of that game. It was a pretty dull game.
Did Cochin get a possession that went forwards?
Yeah, he's been doing that a lot recently. Ever since our form turnaround, it's coincided with him actually actually winning possessions that aren't crabby. Alice is the one who plays like a crab these days.
What about more sideways stat merchant?
I did
Cochin
see
type?
Cochin shanked a set shot from like 5 meters out though, didn't he?
Yeah, he still does that. And then the next one he put it high in the air.
What about can't handle a tag, Deledio? How did he go?
Fine. It's almost as though
He wasn't tagged.
They weren't great, but we got the win.
Ty Vickery lost a tooth.
He had an eventful game.
It did, and we'll come to the MRP later, but let's move on. We'll finally talk about the Dogs. The Dogs came from nowhere. That was one of the most bizarre games of the year. 4 goals for 3 quarters, 10 in the last.
Well, the third quarter, we actually were playing good football. We were just butchering it. And then, yeah, we just decided that everything clicked on and we kicked away.
You could see it coming from a mile away though, because Gold Coast had just stopped in that third quarter.
Yeah, Gold Coast are lucky we didn't blow them away in the third quarter with our bad kicking. But, yeah, Bontempelli, what a goal. What I did love was all the Northies getting all up. Oh, yeah, the Dogs are going to lose to the Gold Coast. Our loss wasn't so bad after all. Gee, I love quoting that guy after the game.
Bit of a crap game to watch, though. I mean, Gold Coast.
Well, it was good in the last quarter.
But 3
But
quarters
it's
was mainly shit. But
Cairns is a shit place to have
Yeah.
football. Every time
Yeah.
it's slippery, it's wet. It's kind of like watching footy in Darwin.
It's windy
Yeah.
half the time as well.
Yeah.
Has produced some funny results though over the years.
Yeah.
And unlike Richmond, we actually can beat Gold Coast up there.
we beat them once, but yeah, we've produced some fucking stinkers.
I don't think North's beaten them up there. I could be wrong.
Well, I think I said this on here a few weeks ago. If we beat Gold Coast this year, I think you have an identical record against them to us now if we beat them in our next encounter. So you'll have won as many games against them as us and lost as many games against them as us.
Who are you talking to?
North
North.
flogged.
Yeah,
them.
but you lost to them when they were shit.
Yeah.
When they were starting out and those 16-year-olds playing. There's a big difference.
Carmichael Hunt kick after the sign.
You
Yeah.
knew where the white lines were to put it through.
Ah, yes.
But yeah, I mean, Gold Coast looked meh. I mean, the Dogs' youth, they looked pretty decent. I mean,
They didn't look like a team that's number 1 in the power rankings, did they?
well, it looked like the team that was number 18th.
In the contaminated ones?
What I liked about that game is, still carrying a few injuries. A backline lost a couple of players. Morris was playing with a broken jaw. But, we're still finding a way to win with our injuries. So the kids are really standing up for us.
You're staying in the 8 and you're keeping Collingworth at bay, going
Yeah.
past them.
It was really impressive for you guys to get the win without Tom Boyd being out there. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, he had a stinker, didn't he? That's what got Plugger up and going.
Well, that wasn't the
Oh.
only thing that got Plugger up and going because the Ross Lions got a buck.
I love the biggest thing about Tom Boyd is basically Melbourne and St Kilda supporters. What's so far up their butt over Tom Boyd? I just don't understand why they're so upset about it.
I'm not sure why Melbourne supporters are because they do have a better player in Hogan, but I can see why St Kilda are because they've chased... Oh, they've got Josh Bruce, but they did spend a number 1 pick on McCartan a year later who's...
Significantly better.
Oh, jeez. Boyd showed more as an 18-year-old. Boyd showed...
I'm going to say Boyd on average is tracking better than most young key forwards.
Boyd showed more as an 18-year-old than McCartan did by a long way.
It's an end game, so it'll be interesting to see all their tears.
So many shit fights to come out of that one. Anything else on the Dogs?
Charlie Dixon got injured, which is a bit of shit for Gold Coast, as he's probably been their best player the past few weeks.
His
Yeah,
value might be going down. I don't know. It's not the time you want to get injured.
Well, Freo will still throw a truckload of money at him.
Isn't it interesting though that they look like a different team with Gazza in there though, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, he can't do everything as we saw on the weekend, but yeah, he actually puts them into a position where they could have won that game if they'd, been able to stay in it a bit longer fitness-wise.
Is it fitness though? They just looked like they lost interested. Yeah, they looked like they weren't interested. And
Well, it was a bit
Ablett
of
or
both.
no Ablett, they played in the second half the way they played for the first 15 rounds of the year.
But even when they tried to defend the game in that last quarter, they struggled. Like, they got smashed on the way back. They were kind of spent on the way back because the Dogs kicked a lot of goals on the rebound in that last quarter, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
And they
Eastern
just
was dominated.
smashed them on the way back.
Couple of stringer specials where those fluky
The
snaps.
package.
The package.
I hate that fucking comp. And BT now tries to say they call him the package.
They.
You call him the package, you fucking idiot. Anyone like BT?
No.
No.
Robbo's kind of got his little cult thing going, but nobody likes BT.
Yeah, Robbo's a likeable drunk if it wasn't for the hurt.
I find BT genuinely amusing at times, but then there's other other times where he just overdoes it, like with the package thing, and where
He's
he's
good on
starting to try and
Valley.
start his
He's-
own
yeah.
jokes.
He's good on Triple M, shit ass on 9.
Commentary for our game, for the most part, is cringeworthy compared
Abysmal.
to how other sports go about their.
And this was the worst thing about the ESPN thing last week with Collingworth was when Carlton fucked it up, which was hilarious comedy. You got BT talking like a fucking bogan, commentating it.
The EPL do it best. They have one guy calling it, and he just calls the game, and you got one other person doing special comments. That's it.
I actually would put BT in the top 50% of commentators, which sounds ridiculous, but when you consider there's fucking Hamish, Dwayne, Basil, and shit running around, Jared Healy, I think they're all worse than BT.
I'd take most of those over BT.
Like, I would take Jared Healy calling Matthew Boyd, Brad Boyd, and, Stringer, Jesse, Jack.
And gooing
John.
about Nat Nui.
Yeah.
You didn't have one of your own coaches, Danny Frawley, miscalling a St Kilda player. He called Josh Bruce Cameron Bruce. That is the definition of fucking stupidity in commentary.
They call him Spud for nothing.
And he hasn't been a St Kilda. He was never a St Kilda coach, was
No,
he?
he's St Kilda coach now. He's a coach there now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's bad.
He turned down a job at Hawthorn for it. He's going to follow his nephew there, and then he went to St Kilda.
Wow, he did the reverse of Beveridge.
Anything else on Dogs?
We're tracking well. Looks like we're going to be playing finals this year. If all things go well.
They're above Collingwood on the ladder, I noticed. There's
Yeah,
a few
they-
people I can think of that won't be happy with that.
But they're not as brave as Collingwood, though, so...
No, there's
And,
no brave losses amongst the Bulldogs.
The good thing is we had our kind of dip in the middle of the year with a couple of shit teams in Melbourne and St Kilda, but we're starting to grind out wins again, so looking good.
Well, speaking of Melbourne, Penal said if they lose, they'll go backwards this week, and they lost. And they kicked 7 goals, 18, and Dawes was shit, and they let Danaher kick 5 straight, and, well, that was an unforgivable result from Melbourne, wasn't it?
They were in the box seat, weren't they?
They should have won that comfortably, but they didn't.
Bad
They
kicking.
pissed it away in front of the big sticks. They need to get some of that white line fever off Carmichael.
I told you Essendon were going to win.
Well, it was more Melbourne lost than...
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they did throw it away.
Danaher was good,
Wait, so
obviously,
you're saying
but
the Essendon win has an asterisk against it?
Well, like all of them, really.
Yeah.
so even though Danaher played well, Essendon's forward line is still shitful because they only kicked 10 goals, I think, 60 odd points against Melbourne. So, to all those Essendon supporters hailing this as a big step forward for their club. No, you're
69
still
points
shit.
exactly.
Hasn't the Kool-Aid
Yeah.
come out since that result?
You're still shit. The opposition were just slightly worse.
How did Cooney go? Because they've been rubbishing the poor guy. He was their saviour for a while there, and I remember posting on
I
there.
don't think he played.
Well, I think he's out. I think he might have got
I'm-
dropped. He got
Yeah.
dropped.
Oh, I thought he had an injury. Because I remember posting on their board saying, you're going to get 2 or 3 good games out of him the year because his knee's stuffed. Oh, no, we have better medical, spongy turf.
James
all
said he'd
that.
be a star, so he will be a star.
I kind of feel sorry. They're using him mainly as a forward. He's a midfielder.
The
I
thing
don't know
is-
what they're doing.
Well, Hurd doesn't know what he's doing either.
He wouldn't be getting a game at the Bulldogs, so he's done all right. He's got a 2-year contract paid that he wouldn't be getting at the Dogs, so good on him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anything else out of that game? You had something on Jeremy Howe's tackle on Brown, Ant.
Oh, that's right. Apparently Paul Roos hasn't seen it. So he's the coach of the team, and every time he got asked to comment on it, he goes, oh, no, haven't seen it. Can't comment. Bullshit. Either he's telling the truth, and he really is the worst coach for them they could ever have, because he's just completely disinterested, or he's a lying sack of shit.
And no accountability.
Yeah. And both of those angles I could probably agree with. Maybe it's the truth somewhere in the middle.
So he's a bit of a Hurd. Won't take responsibility.
Well, definitely.
Anything else out of that? Look, it was just Melbourne have done a lot of good things this year. They beat the Concerning Cats, and they've been more competitive. But results like this,
They're still Melbourne, though.
yeah,
they-
results
they
like
have
this remind you that they are still Melbourne.
And James Hurd's been involved in a road accident.
Has he?
Club statement. Essendon senior coach James Hurd suffered a heavy fall from his bicycle while riding home from training this afternoon. Club doctor Bruce Reid said James was taken by ambulance for assessment. James was very fortunate he was wearing a helmet which has braced his fall. He suffered severe concussion, however... severe concussion, however, x-rays
You're
from
laughing about
manufacturers. I was just laughing about the fact that because he has a concussion. I mean, put a microphone under his head, under him now. Did your players take drugs? Oh yeah, they did.
Maybe that's where Teachy's just gone to snipe Hurdy with his car.
He's trying to run him off the road.
I'm just not
James
sure
were
whether to troll or not. I just
So
No, it's James
basically,
Heard, you control.
he's
If
fine.
he has
There you
a
go.
pulse, you control.
Basically, what they were saying is his luscious hair protected him from the fall.
That's Trent Cotchin-esque. He wouldn't need a bear helmet.
But yeah, cycling, that just isn't that typical of James Heard, considering what goes on there. Like in Tour de France is on, and that's very much he loves France and he loves drugs. So
just thinking-
course cycling,
He's preparing
Well,
for his new career.
yeah.
While he's got a concussion, that's just the best time to ask him the questions. Get Wilder in there. He'd be like Breaking
Hand it,
Bad when he took...
and these things are usually inadmissible, but that's all right. Stick a consent form under his nose and just let him sign it.
And the other thing is, if it was anyone else, I probably wouldn't be laughing so much.
No, I wouldn't be laughing either if it was anyone else, but it is James Heard, and well, this is just the same regard for other people's health that he showed. So it's play on.
Maybe I'm just an ordinary individual that he was talking about.
Okay, let's just go straight to that. Ordinary individuals says James Heard.
Is there it?
Sorry, Dan, were you going to say something?
I was going to go back to the bike incident. Does it allude to him having just an accident, or did someone try to...
And sorry, I need to give you guys all a little pop quiz. Guess who it was that started the thread?
Man with no name.
Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. So he does vowel threads and almost vowel.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, if there's one person who's really, really disappointed he didn't die, it's Man with No Name, because it's not quite a veil thread. But yeah, we'll go to Heard Says the Darndest Things, and yes, he's talking about ordinary individuals. Like,
Apparently, Caro must be wrapped or sad he didn't die.
Is he talking about himself?
no, he's talking about other people, and he's talking about the truth.
It's a
There's the
psychopath
truth.
trying to gain moral high ground.
Yeah,
I do like how he basically said, the way it's been handled early on and the way it's been handled the whole way through media leaks. I probably won't say any more. But then he goes on to say, there are some people within the AFL industry I have no time for, who I think are ordinary individuals who don't speak the truth.
Says
Who have-
James.
yeah.
They have agendas and drive really hard towards their own agendas. But I won't say any more.
We've said this before, but it's just like he knows his audience, doesn't he? They will lap anything up. And Robbo just sits there going, yes, James, yes.
Oh, James, you're my hero.
The biggest issue in this
Pour me
is
another
that the
Kool-Aid
truth was
vodka.
never
Vodka
the
and
desired outcome, or the truth got lost along the way. What does that even mean?
It means that he shredded the truth. He had the truth, and he put it in a shredder, and it got lost along the way.
You can't handle the truth.
The truth has been recycled into toilet paper and cardboard boxes, and he's saying what he thinks is the truth because he's a delusional cunt.
But apparently there are plenty of examples of people who are working at the AFL now who have said the truth doesn't matter anymore. It's not about the truth.
He's gone full fucking
Well,
smiling
maybe
Buddha.
the AFL offer a peace offering to James Heard and give him a tricycle.
Is James Heard going to suddenly, like, when Wilder come up, when they say, and they ask for truth, he's going to go, like, full Jack Nicholson, like, you can't handle the truth and all this shit?
That's what we just said earlier.
Who ordered the Black Ops? I ordered the Black Ops.
Say that again.
JCP Dragon has just commented saying, I think the bike accident is staged and James Heard is now going to pull the amnesia card.
I do like how even the angry little dwarf is saying, I think it's time for James to get over his anger. So, I mean, if Paul Little is telling him to cool it...
It's
Well-
time to leave Heard.
Yeah, he's starting to take a toll.
It's...
Yeah, finally.
There you go. So
Got that.
there's now 2 posts blaming Caro for it.
Oh, can we get him? We need to look at Bomber Blitz for this one.
So yeah, so basically he just got a bump on the head, a bit concussed. So again, best time to ask him a question about it.
And he got treated by Doc Reed, so who knows what he was given to.
He
managed-
came up with a bump on his head and a boner in his pants.
It's
One
managed to get
lump or
Bomber
two,
Bliss to collapse.
Has it?
Yeah, try going on now. It says something's gone wrong.
They've,
Bomber Blitz has been falling off its bike, yeah.
trouble in Jamestown. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to North getting a win. They're keeping their season alive.
Lol.
Boomer, he was decisive. He dropped Lindsay. He gave Boomer the vest. Gave Kanye Turner a full game.
How did Kanye go?
Yeah, he was good. He kicked a couple of goals, I think.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he did something.
He kicked the ball.
Yeah, he did something that wasn't bowl someone over. Instead, someone else bowled him over.
So what,
But
he actually played football. He didn't just do his wrecking ball.
no,
Wow.
it wasn't
Nice.
Miley Cyrus
Wow.
this week. No.
Good on you, Kanye.
But North won. Brad made a statement. He actually, he said he said the axe was gonna fall. And I was like, oh, Brad, yeah, like you always do. And then all of a sudden, dirty
He
diver
finally did
Lindsay's
it.
gone, and
Yeah.
selfish Boomer's been sat on the bench. He probably blamed some young player for it, but
Oh, of course he did. Yeah,
but yeah, they
because
won.
that's what
and-
he does. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. of
And
course.
everything went well for North except Suze wasn't there. That was the only thing that could have
Oh
been.
well, how could you be surprised about that?
Not everything went well for North because Brad Scott wanted Selwood to get off from his suspension, and sorry, Brad. Selwood's out next week.
Yeah, there was the chicken wing, which we'll come to. Look, the cats.
Don't be shy. You want chicken tonight? Simmer sauces from Ragu.
Wow,
That sounded almost yank, man. Was that
it
the yank
was, I
version?
think. But yeah, anything else on that? Geelong are concerning, and they're
Teachers crashed his own team's bandwagon.
well, maybe they won't hold on to 8th spot. They've beaten just enough teams, but it's just one of these games where they
This is
now
going to
that
be the
they're out of
first.
the 8, maybe they won't stay.
This is going to be the first year that Selwood hasn't played in the final.
Oh,
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh.
maybe that's why he's getting a bit aggro because he can't handle losing.
Petrie apparently hit Mackie.
Oh yeah, he copped a week for that.
That's the best thing Petrie's ever done.
Ha ha. Actually, Peachy's had a solid year. He's been all right. He's been
Really?
better than last year. Yeah.
I thought Petrie had kind of faded a bit. He started all right.
No,
I
he's been having that sort of Jack Rewalt sort of year where he's been pushing up the ground a bit and.
I
kicking
thought you meant where he's
occasional
being a
shots.
whiny little bitch, then running away from the media and getting on the train to Richmond. No, not the different.
No,
That's very well
No,
said.
no. Oh, it was refreshing to see some intensity and
Youth.
youth doing well, but knowing North, you won't see it consistently. So
How did Higgins go?
yeah, he was good.
Continues to outdo Rioli.
Well, he pretty much is probably the best half forward in the game right now, isn't he?
Not far off it.
He will probably be in the All Australian squad. He's got some competition though, but he's had a
He'll make the
solid
squad.
year.
He'll be like Shane Edwards. He'll make the squad.
Shane Edwards.
He'll
It's
make
been
the squad. No,
statistically
he
proven.
probably won't now that he's got injured, but he would have. But Higgins very much would. Rioli won't. It's not good enough.
Really will. He'll make the final 22.
It would be undeserved.
Well, he'll get in just because who he is, because I like.
Yes, exactly. They love those fucking useless 10 possession games. Biggest myth in football. Let's move on. Giants took Geelong's spot in the 8. They rolled St Kilda.
St Kilda look like they're going to come back and do one of their famous comebacks, and it just all fell apart.
Yeah, I've got fuck all on this.
I didn't watch this game at all.
I
But
watched
it was a reasonable.
But
game
didn't
of
and they had another injury as well, didn't they?
Literally, the only thing I can think of about this game is to say that Armitage and Rewalt love a good comeback, but that's all.
Yeah,
Do you still want to see that video, Penal? Yes, you do.
Not really.
Yeah, you do.
Nah.
Cameron kicked 5. He played pretty good, but
Yeah, there was not a whole lot out of that game. It went.
What it meant is GWS, if they do make it, they're going to make up the numbers because they lost another defender, I believe. Can't remember his name, but
There's always one team usually that gets a drubbing in week 1. Usually the team that finishes 8th. So GWS might be that team this year.
Or Collingwood.
but usually it's Richmond.
Yeah, but it's not us this time because we won't be finishing in 8th.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Usually it's Richmond.
Fuck off.
did shitty that Rewell got injured, but he'll probably play this week.
West Coast skied over the Crows, which there's not a whole lot to say about that. West Coast can kick a big score, and they are probably genuinely threatening.
There's another game that I didn't
couldn't-
watch.
Kennedy
I don't
couldn't kick
watch
enough
much
for the
footy.
X's, but
I don't know. I mean, I need the good teams that can beat West Coast, so convincingly.
they're looking impressive at home, and don't be surprised if they finish second.
Wouldn't
because
want
they'll
to
probably
go
beat
there
Freo.
in the finals, but luckily
Right.
it'll probably be Freo or Sydney. Would
I was
love
gonna say,
love
would-
to see a derby final.
I was going to say, if Freo drop and then West Coast play Freo in the final, then you go, there'll be some bit of outrage. Where's my home final?
They'll get a home final.
No, because they'll play it at Geelong.
It's not bad because of the rugby or something. Because they keep booking fucking rugby at Subiaco at finals time. That would be hilarious. But yeah, nothing else on that game. The Crows players looked shot,
I mean-
emotionally shot at the end.
West Coast could have put in their reserves team, they would have won. I mean, Adelaide, there's no way they were going to come to play. I mean, understandably as well.
Well, they did come to play, but they just
I mean, of course they tried, but it wouldn't
They-
take much for them to.
once they lost
They were
track.
good in the first quarter, but I think what's the situation that Starbuns was talking about last week where the heads just dropped and then from that point on
Mentally burnt
Uh,
out.
Yeah,
Once
so
they lost touch, they let it go a little bit easier than most teams would. They just,
I mean, it must have been bloody hard to get your mind on the footy, so you can't blame them.
yeah.
it was
So
like
there's not much to troll out of that game.
that was a true brave performance. I know we overuse the word and it loses all meanings, but that was brave.
Yeah, that was genuinely brave. That was nothing like Collingwood.
And it was a bit emotional at the end with all the
Yeah.
allied players crying and doing that.
Was there anything else on that? Like,
I
someone
think
said
we said it all. I mean, West Coast did spill
Pritis,
over 'em, so.
Pritis 30-something disposals.
Oh, yeah.
Another BOG effort.
He's going for a Brownlow back to back.
If Nat 5 gets rubbed out, gets another miniature suspension.
I still
again.
can't believe he's a Brownlow medalist.
He
Potentially
could be a
a back-to-back Brownlow medalist.
You know, it would be even funnier than Fife getting rubbed out if Fife doesn't get rubbed out and Pritis still beats him. The fucking Freo fans would melt.
That'd be glorious.
I like the way you think.
Last game of the round, Swans were unconvincing against Brisbane. It took them until midway through the last to put them away. I didn't watch much of this game,
I
but
just saw the highlights and saw that Zorko goal.
Oh, guess what? It's another game I didn't watch.
Tippett kicked the goal.
yeah, Tippett kicked a goal. It was a crucial goal.
He did?
Yeah, it was kind of
Oh,
the
good.
game was I think an
Tippett.
8-point game at that point.
Well done, Tippett. Yeah.
Because the Bryans were in front, and then I think Buddy kicked the next 3 in a row, and then Tippett kicked the sealer. So it was really only a bit of magic, I guess, from Franklin that kind of turned the game for him.
Well,
There-
in between that, Christensen missed an absolute sitter that really probably took the air out of him.
What to say? They spent $2 million on a forward line, and it just beats Brisbane. Or ask for a refund.
They're too reliant on Franklin, and without him, they probably would have lost that game.
Yeah, like as we said last week, the forward line looked better without Tippett there. But let's go to the talking points. We'll begin with the MRP, and there's a whole of a lot to get through. We'll begin with Selwood and the chicken wing. And Ant, you had a conspiracy theory on this.
Well, the two teams above North Melbourne who are potentially holding their spot in the 8 are Bulldogs and GWS. They play Geelong the next 2 weeks. Could it be that Brad Scott was more interested in having Selwood playing because that would benefit his own team over his own player getting his arm ripped off?
Yes.
I don't think Brad's that smart.
No, honestly.
This is Suze's cousin we're talking about. I don't think he's that smart. I think he's just helping his brother out.
It's your typical player code bullshit where we're trying to not get someone suspended. And plus, we kind of owed Geelong one with the Boomer getting off for the prelim last year.
Boomer's selfish enough just to take that and not give it back.
No, that's fair because Boomer did do a lot in that final, didn't he?
Well,
It'd be like the time he just fucking took the car and didn't give it back and just gave it to his missus.
All the time he played 400 useless games. Oh, I went there.
well, he can all go get.
Judd got 4. We know Judd's a renowned sniper. Selwood's only done it once before.
It's not in the Judd category, I don't think.
But didn't Selwood also do the whole eye gouge thing as well?
Selwood is planning for his new career. He wants to be a professional wrestler. Like, he cuts himself, which is why he gets the blood rule. He does the eye gouging, which is what Ric Flair and all that do. And now with the chicken wing. I'm just waiting for him to give someone a fucking power bomb soon enough.
None of us are wrestling fans, so yeah.
No.
He can take that shit to East Geelong.
Yeah.
Although I am a Ronda Rousey fan.
A what?
Ronda Rousey. And please, have you heard of Ronda Rousey?
Dan likes a girl that can beat him up.
And
What's a Ronda Rousey?
oh no. No.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Dan.
UFC fighter, undefeated. Moving on.
Yeah, if he wants to go into wrestling,
Well, he could get Phil
redacted.
as his manager.
So he wants to be what was her name? Ronda Ronald or something, yeah.
Ronald McDonald. He likes to duck. He likes to act out free kicks. So yeah, I guess it is a decent career path for
So
him.
would he be one of the villains or the good guys?
Don't
he'd
be a villain.
He'd be a villain for sure.
Yeah.
Was Jarrett Craven a villain? I don't remember.
No, because Phil hated him, so he's obviously the good guy.
Oh, he's good.
Will he goose Phil?
No, he's more of a duck.
Duck goose, man.
Oh, speaking of the Selwood thing, the Mitchell bites, I think Ant mentioned before about Mitchell's snipe, some of the Hawthorn supporters biting on that. Didn't the Geelong supporters bite on Morg's thread about Selwood? There was some serious butt hurt there from the Geelong supporters. They don't like it when you call it how it is with Selwood.
But they've been in denial for years. I remember when I tweeted from Chief's Big Footy News account, Selwood put up something about I can't believe this is outlawed at the tribunal or something. He had a sook about something, and I tweeted just as well ducking's not outlawed.
Geelong supporters, I guess they're the type who, if someone went into wrestling, they would believe it was real.
Well, it's a bit like the Mitchell thing with the Hawthorn supporters. They get very touchy about saying negative shit about their captain.
Well, we'll go to that because, yeah, Mitchell got let off.
Well, he got a fine, which is...
A fine. How much is Mitchell on?
I know, that's a line of coke for him.
Yeah, it's a pittance worth. Come on.
I think this is probably worth a fine, but I don't see how it's worth games. I mean, what would you class it as?
Lightning struck twice. He's a serial near.
You can't knee people.
And
Someone
he's
brought
been
up
punished accordingly.
Someone brought up something from 2005 where he did it as well, and he went to the tribunal.
He's a dirty player.
He's an ordinary individual. This action was naive and idiotic.
Why is he kneeing people? Why?
Because he's short and he's trying to jump and...
Yeah, you bump into people or you block them. You don't knee people.
He wants to give them corkies and they'll run like he does. He's leveling the playing field.
I don't see how this is worth more than a fine, though, because it's graded as bloody intentional, low-impact body contact.
So, kneeing into people is now a free-for-all. You can just do it now.
Well, considering Taylor Adams only got 2 weeks, yeah, I think if you want to knee someone anywhere other than the head, then yeah, you can probably get away with it.
Where's the scope to change the grading on? Where do you want to disagree with the grading, or should this go straight to the tribunal?
Straight to the tribunal. Kneeing is bad.
This is back in 2008. Hawks under corking scrutiny. It's understood the AFL umpiring department has been alerted to Captain Sam Mitchell and Vice Captain Luke Hodges' alleged practices of trying to cork opponents' legs in games.
This is just like Herd's back armband coming back.
Dirty Hawks.
Yeah. But yeah, considering that Taylor Adams got half a week for each knee, he put in a Westhoff's head. Kneeing is a free-for-all because Sam Mitchell seems to be able to do it as a serial kneer.
There's
to
some
be
serious
fair,
fucking X-Files shit going on here. Nothing to see here.
To be fair to Mitchell, if he wanted to knee someone, all he had to do was try and get up in the air and take a mark.
Yeah, but Mitchell can't jump.
At least Cyril can jump and take a hanger every other week.
He drops off his hangers.
Yeah, that's why I say every other week. He goes up every week, but takes half of them roughly.
Wasn't he goalless over the weekend?
Yeah, but obviously didn't seem to hurt the team.
Come on, Dan, he's the 20th player in the team.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, he can't almost win a game against Sydney all the time.
with 30 minutes.
Yeah, you can't rate him like one of their better performers like a Brewster or a Puopolo. It's not fair to compare him to those players.
He just won us the game
There's no
last
seg-
week, and he obviously didn't need to do it this week because we were just all over them.
So he can't do it
cut him
against. So
some
he's
slack.
a downhill skier then. That's
No,
not
he-
against shit teams, not against Freo.
Poor man's Jack Loney.
No, if he was doing it against Freo in a fucking 80-point win, then he'd be downhill skiing. But no, he stood up in the close game where we needed him to against Collingwood. I don't see how he's downhill skiing.
Well, it's not standing up against Collingwood because they were brave. Anyway, a couple of other suspensions which we'll come to. There was, Taylor Adams. What do we think of that?
It's good. 2 weeks.
You reckon 2 weeks was enough?
Well, it's enough for me because we played Collingwood in 2 weeks.
I think 2 weeks was very lenient.
Yeah, very
I mean,
lenient.
he needed him in the head, for goodness sake. You can't just go kneeing people in the head.
Well, teach things you can.
Just out of curiosity, like how much did Brian Lake go? What, 3 weeks for choking or something like that?
4 down to 3.
Yeah, he should have gotten 4
No,
as well.
it was
Alex.
4. 4 seemed about right, but Adams has got priors, so it could have potentially been up to 6, so he's very lucky to get 2.
he is a flog.
Speaking of prize, fucking Ty Vickery gets 2, all because fucking Jamison's got the awareness of Cozzy.
Yeah, but Vickery's an idiot.
Yeah, well, what's he supposed to do? He stood there and waited, and fucking Jamison runs into him.
Nah, fuck Vickery.
No, Jamison's a fucking Kaczynski, and he's made of fucking paper mache.
You
Soft-
melted a bit there, Fivey.
Soft Carlton culture. They breed him soft there. If he fell off his bike,
If Vickery fell off his bike, then he'd probably just get up again and maybe talk some sense.
no, if Jamison fell off his bike, he'd break in 2 based on that.
Oh, well, no, Vic Rufus just killed a game. Helps us.
No, it actually helps Richmond.
No, he's playing
it.
good football at the moment. It
No.
is bad for us. And it means Hampson probably plays again.
But that's good for you guys on
No, it's
current
not.
form. He played alright, but Vickery I thought was pretty unlucky, though.
Very
Yeah.
stiff. Petrie got a week for hitting Mackie.
Forearm to the jaw. He'll challenge it.
Is that the hardest thing Petrie's ever done?
I'm going to pull a Paul Ross and
Probably.
say I didn't see the incident.
Well, he's not a thug.
And also,
Vickery is.
Mackie has a chin that just needs to be whacked. So, I mean, Petrie should be applauded for that.
Should have hit him harder.
Yeah.
5 got off, but he's 1 more and he's gone. It's a 3 strikes policy. He's
Yep.
1 brain fade from losing the Brownlow to Pritis again.
So he was trying to spoil and punch someone in the head, did he?
Yeah, it's DeRay who's got a kind of punchable head as well. Well, since we're on the subject of punchable heads.
You only
Fine.
say that because Hodgepodge has fucking adopted him as his new poster boy
Hodgepodge,
since
no,
the
actually, I
Sean
didn't know
Makers
that.
thing.
Hodgepodge has adopted DeRay.
Yeah, no, have you seen his sig? It's like Taylor Duray, 1800th in all-time leading disposal getters and climbing.
Has he 20 and 3 though?
No, he's a defender, so he hasn't.
Well, then get the fuck out. Oh, Hodgepodge is fucking hopeless. Shit, thinking.
So, talking about goo, what happened to Langford?
He's fucking off, so they don't want to go over him anymore.
No one's fucking happier about this than Bobby.
Anyway, a couple of other talking points whilst we're on them. The draft, moving to Adelaide. Apparently that Adelaide want the draft. They want to bring the 18-year-olds in.
Oh, so this is the marketing ploy to get people to come to Adelaide. Adelaide, we have the draft.
They could turn it into a reality TV show. A bunch of young kids go to Adelaide and only some of them make it out.
Yeah, but really they want the draft. Why?
Well, it's probably better than being at the Gold Coast, to be honest. I mean, they'll just all do the cocaine up there.
They'll end up like Suns players, yeah.
But the Gold Coast, they get to have pictures on the beach and all that crap. I mean,
Rundle Mall.
So is that so the kids who get a taste of Adelaide before they get drafted by them, so they can go, yeah, I really don't want to be here.
Try before you buy.
And a camera shot of the kid's face when his name gets called out by Adelaide or Port Adelaide officials and see his face just drop. I have to say,
Anything else on that? Do we want to talk about Basil?
So Baz has been getting to Twitter, sticking his finger up at people.
naughty.
Well,
naughty.
apparently it wasn't him, and he was quick to say that, which is disappointing because
It actually showed he had, if it was him, it would have had a bit of, humour and...
instead he's got just as little personality as we all suspected.
Actually, that is a Photoshop. It's not my hand. As you can tell, my hand is actually this fit.
Thanks, Ben.
I've checked out the Basil Zempoulos Facebook account that this was originated from, and I think it's someone from the Bay because there's a reference there to Richmond outsuiting the Navy Blues, and he's talking about how Richmond won the game on Friday night against Carlton because Richmond had more expensive suits than Carlton did. So someone clearly on the Bay is responsible for this Basil Zempoulos finger Photoshop, and come forward or don't, but keep doing what you're doing.
You
What
can
would
get
be
a
the
free-
incentive to come forward?
Yeah, come forward. We'll give you the outside trolling badge if you can prove it's you. We got one question. We'll take the one question from Benoit before we move on. Who would win out of a six-way cage fight between Mitchell, Selwood, Adams, Fife, Vickery, and Petrie?
Oh, that's pretty easy.
Vickery.
Yeah, he knows how to box, and he's more likely to fight dirty.
Oh, is it cage fighting or wrestling? Because we know Selwood's got a new career path.
Well, it depends. Is the cage downhill or not? Because if it is, Petrie's a chance.
Oh, come on.
Mitchell would have dressed up as a referee, pretended not be involved, be officiating, to stick cheap knees into people as they beat each other up. But yeah, this week on the Bay, Flog of the Week, I think there is only one winner, and it's got to be Detective Black Flag.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean? I mean, he is Bender's alias. I mean, sorry, mate, edit that out.
Shh. I'm going to have to delete that comment.
I was going to ask you for an underscore next to my name, but I won't be doing that anymore. So I don't want to be labelled as an Elias to Bender.
Well, everyone's a Bender Elias. If you support West Coast, you are. Because, they might have 60,000 members, but only one fan.
That's a hell of a blow.
He makes a lot of noise.
And a lot of money, obviously, to pay for all those memberships.
West Coast, it's a hell of a drug.
Is there anyone else worth mentioning?
The Billy Boos.
Honourable mention to Divvy Blues, who's just been posting like Sues all week. Nothing specific, but yeah. Spartan's making a late run in the herd thread.
I'm really comparing
Phil Walsh with James Third.
And Teach for falling asleep again.
Wake up, Teach.
This guy has the nerve to fucking call other people out for being late. Fuck you, Teach.
What about Thread of the Week? There's a few more categories.
Bit disappointing week on the Bay and football in general, so...
I thought we had some good threads, though. I liked the Isis North one.
I did like
Yeah,
that
one's
one
not
off.
bad.
That was good.
Also liked Big Joe D's one about Hawthorn Freo, the grand final preview. That was pretty good. That got some bites out of quite a few Hawthorn supporters. The only couple that went with that joke.
I like the Robbo thread. An open letter to Robbo from...
Long North, Long North.
Man, Sesame Street needs to have that in their show.
One of these kids is not like the other.
One of these kids is not like the other. There's fucking Kanye, there's Dumont, and then there's Wade.
Brought to you by the letters LOLNOR.
Yeah, I hope those kids starve. Not getting my donation. You can all starve. That's terrible. I shouldn't say that.
No other honourable mentions?
Well, Bayers did pretty good work this week.
Oh, yeah, we gave him that last week, though, didn't we?
Yeah, but he continued to do a bit more this week.
Yeah, and he's got an underscore now, so he's,
Well, he's a Bender Elias.
Fucking mod favoritism in the Flog of the Week for one of your own.
Thread of the Week.
I'm going to go
Yeah,
with
give it to Lil North
Lol North.
for making Dan melt. for making Dan want fucking children to die.
Last week's poll, who would you most like to have playing for your club? 13.6% said Jack Loney, 13.6% said Sean Higgins, 18.2% said Jack Watts, 22.7% said Shane Edwards, and 31.8% said Sirioli, which was the most. But
The people have spoken.
when you look at that, it is just the
Oh,
Goo
no.
Squad and fuck off Jose. He's trying to jump onto the bandwagon. He's jumping off Frio like Ross
He's
Lyon.
trying to pull a teach.
Yeah, so the Goo Squad, fucking typical. Send Rioli to the win. Otherwise, he doesn't rate. He finishes last if you take that out.
No, it's just there's no Goo Squad members who voted for Rioli. It's just all the intelligent, rational Hawthorn supporters like me and Ugak and Juice T and Deathy. So it's not like fucking Hodgepodge went in there and created a billion Eliases just to vote for Rioli. So
Surprised
the
it's-
people have spoken, and it's just like a week ago the poll of all the footy fans came out and said Hodge was the best captain and the toughest player in the AFL, and the people have spoken yet again.
People obviously didn't realise that Nick Reward exists.
No, the people were aware. The people just thought, Hodge, what a man, what a legend.
The people aren't David Armitage, Cookie. He doesn't speak for everyone.
Well, then people need to be David Armitage.
Let's go to next week's games, and we'll begin with the Friday night. North versus Essendon.
Oh, that's going to be so much better than fucking Richmond and Carlton, that's for sure.
Oh, come on. North can't have a Friday night game.
Yes, we can. We either score either 100 points or we choke with 5 minutes to go. It's worth watching.
Yeah.
Well, you'd
No,
think they
well,
invented it or something. Bloody
No,
hell.
this is the Etihad, so, you should score enough points to beat Essendon's score of 50.
So what if Hurd falling off his bike and knocking his head, he goes from dud to genius coach?
Maybe Neil gets put in charge, wins the game, and then Little goes, this guy's a better coach than James.
Neil
that is-
finally has the ammo he needs.
And we get another Lowell North.
It's like when
Yeah.
Homer shoved all those crayons up his nose. It became really smart.
Extended warranty, I can't lose.
I'm on North. Anyone else?
North, they're going to
North.
smash Essendon.
I'm going to go the Bombers.
Because of what you just said?
Yes.
Geelong versus Dogs at the shithole Bulldogs.
Dogs are going to smash the Cats.
They've been terrible down there on the Cats. Have they even won a game at Skilled Stadium?
Yeah, that big gold curse.
Did
By
they?
like 6 points or something. That's
Yeah.
their only win there. I was going to say I'm going to wait for Teach until I tip, but I could be waiting a while, so Dogs.
Yeah, go the Dogs.
Doggies.
Franchise Cup, Gold Coast versus the Giants. On the Gold Coast, Giants to win this despite their injuries.
Giants.
Yeah, Giants.
I think Gold Coast, but it'll be ugly.
Flip a coin. Giants.
Saturday at Etihad, Collingwood versus West Coast. I'm on another brave loss for Collingwood. 5 in a row. 5 in a row.
Isn't it just 3 so far, and this would be going for 4?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, they had a bye. Sorry. Yes. 4 in a row.
Yeah, but that was close. The bye pushed him. It was the Brave.
Well, to be fair, it was a draw. Collingwood was the bye, and still winless.
That's brave.
Brave.
Yeah, got to tip West Coast. But Collingwood to be brave.
It's at Etihad, and so Port might have to give Collingwood some of their bay covers because Pies fans do not like making the trip to Etihad.
That's like the Melbourne supporters saying that they don't like going to Etihad. What's that all about?
No one who supports an MCG club likes going to Etihad.
What a fucking bunch of pansies. You get to go undercover. The seating's better as well.
You're closer to bars and shit.
Man, I've got my own bar when I go to Etihad. I don't have to fucking worry about being out with the scum at MCG.
Ant Logic.
Yeah.
It's not quite Plugger Logic, but
There's no MCC, old cunts, so that's positive about Etihad.
And you don't have to worry about the weather.
Brad Scott likes this.
Ha 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 ha. Yeah.
speaking of, the cold weather didn't get the Dogs this week.
No.
Cold tune weather didn't get them.
Is Teach right about anything regarding football?
Don't know.
No, not really.
Colas versus Hawthorn at ANZ Stadium, and because it's there, Hawthorn will win. It's not the SCG.
Hawthorn.
Swans have been shaky even at the SCG though this year. They lost to Richmond and the Dogs there. So
Well, they nearly lost to Essendon at ANZ.
I'm going to say Sydney.
you got to tip us like regardless of where it is. To be honest,
We don't have
We'll
to tip
fucking
you at
smash
all.
him.
Piss me off.
Yeah, I don't have to tip you. Sydney.
Yeah, actually.
He doesn't want your goo.
Sydney. But he just
Hawthorn,
ski all over his old team.
Hawthorn to win in a close one and Cyril to go 10-1.
Cyril goes goalless.
if he does go goalless, it'll be the best goalless performance of all time because I think he's due for a big game.
I think Cyril's going to have a repeat of his last game against Sydney.
No, I think he's going to have a good game. He'll go 10-1.
Good game by Cyril standards.
More people would fucking want him in their team than Edwards or Higgins, so shut the fuck
Fucking
up.
Goo Squad chugging each other again.
No, it's
Cool.
not.
Yes, it is. It was all you and Jose.
Oh, fucking Jose.
Jose was the only neutral.
Fuck off, Jose.
He just wants to be cool.
What do the mainboard neutrals think?
They think we should move on to the next game. Freo versus Carlton. Well, this would be a good game for the X's.
Oh no!
Thank fuck this one's not on Friday night though.
Just
What
thinking
time?
about this
Yeah.
game makes me feel nauseous.
I'm bored already. I can't even tip this game. I'm so
Yeah.
bored.
Freo will win despite only kicking 5 goals.
What time is this game on?
Saturday night. Don't worry, there's another game you can watch.
Thank
It's
fuck.
Hawthorn Sydney.
Oh, not that's later because the Freo Carlton game's at 5:40.
Yeah, no, that's Perth time. So
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Well, who gives a shit about Perth? Time?
Freo will win next, enough said.
Freo.
I'm not even going to tip.
okay, you can have the draw.
They don't even deserve the draw.
If you don't tip this game, you're going to get Carlton down, and that means you might drop back below Teach in the tip.
No, all right, fine, Freo. Because I was actually a little bit elated actually getting off the bottom of the ladder.
Let's move on to, well, this game's not going to excite anyone. Melbourne versus Brisbane at the MCG. Melbourne should bounce back because Brisbane are just fucking hopeless.
No, I'm going to go the Bryans because Melbourne is shit.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bryans.
Melbourne. They actually have key forwards.
Roos won't take responsibility if they lose, though.
Although Hogan might actually cash in this week, he might kick 6+.
Melbourne barely in a shit game.
If Hogan cashes in and kicks a bag, that'd be fantastic because it would firm his rising star chances and that would make Carlton people melt if Cripps doesn't win it.
I haven't really been covering the NAB. Is it really just out of those two?
Brayshaw's in there.
Oh, yeah, he's been
played
good.
like what? How much games he played? Like 4 or 5 or some shit like that.
No, he's played most of them.
What is
I
that,
think he's only
5?
missed one.
But he's only played a couple of good ones.
He's
like-
played some
yeah.
blinders, but he's
Since-
been consistent.
Yeah, no, since he's only been good since Barker took over, to be honest.
No, he fucking dominated when they beat St Kilda in Anzac Day.
They don't give it to
I
the best.
fucking didn't
They
watch
never-
that game.
He's in my
so-
super coach team, so he's been scoring well all year.
They never give it to the best player. They'll give it to some hack from Brisbane.
Yeah, I know.
Really shit
Newcastle
the
should
second
got
year.
the last.
Well, no,
year.
no, they give it to some hack at a team that's desperate for some success story, so it's Carlton.
Logic is sound.
You're fucking still melting over that Bontempelli thing?
Well, you don't need to because Taylor's a crab and we've seen it.
Yeah.
He's out Rockcliffe.
He
Rockcliffe,
doesn't-
isn't he?
doesn't hurt you.
Showdown direct from Adelaide, Port versus Adelaide, the Crows. I'm going to pick Port just because I'm not sure about where the Crows are right now. I'm
Yeah.
not sure what to get up.
I reckon Crows' season's over. Unfortunate for them.
Yeah.
Port are going to just get it just because Adelaide. It's going to be more Adelaide losing than Port winning, I think.
Yeah, they'll fall in.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
think
going for
I
the
think
Puffers.
Port have got up ahead of steam now. I think they're back, probably not back on track to make the 8, but they're playing decentish again, so they'll
They're
win.
back on the bike, are they? Ooh, too soon.
And finally, St Kilda versus Richmond. Fuck, I didn't know this was Sunday twilight.
You going to go the game?
No, it's not a home game. And it's not
He
the
can
MCG.
still go though.
Oh, he doesn't go to Etihad.
Oh.
Yeah, don't go to Etihad. Yeah, exactly right. Fuck that. I can go to the MCG. Nah, I think we'll win despite injuries and suspensions.
I'm going to go the Saints.
Tigers.
Yeah, Richmond.
I'm gonna go St Kilda. Just, I reckon we'll get over the line.
So the two Cooksons picked St Kilda.
I ate 2 ants. Come on. I have seniority here.
All right, so yeah, that's everything. This was the vlogcast for round 16. Starbuns joined by Dan,
Wake up, Teach.
Penal,
Cyril Rioli, number 1.
For what?
That's all.
Ant,
See ya.
and Cooksen.
See ya.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
You're a flog, Starbuns.